Hey everyone, it's Mike Britton, the Misfit Pastor, talking today about one way of studying the Bible. Here on this channel, we want to dig into the Bible and how to study the Bible, how to get more out of your Bible study, how to take Bible study further. But we wanted to talk today about sort of that entry level, introductory, sort of foundational type of Bible study. How do you begin? Where do you begin? Maybe um, to, if you're starting today, just, hey, I want to study the Bible. I'd love to study the Bible, but I don't know what to do or how to do that. What's a, what's a great way that I can jump in and start studying the Bible? And so when we say entry level and introductory kind of way, I want to say from the beginning that's in no way a reflection on, anyone's intellectual ability or where they are spiritually or where they are, again, intellectually or with their abilities. It's not about those things. It's entry level, we want to say, is more about just what it takes to come at that. And so whether that's cost or whether that's the tools that you have around you, that kind of a thing. So if you're going to study the Bible, we're going to assume that you have a Bible. If you don't have a Bible, I think that the ESV version of the Bible is a really good version. It's a very readable version, and it's a very accurate version. I think it's a very trustworthy version, although there are lots of really great versions out there. Don't feel that one is pitted against another. I don't think that that's true or helpful at all, those that would do that. And so I'm not saying one is better, but I think an ESV is a very good one. So, having a Bible, where do you begin? Where do you go? Well, today we're going to talk about kind of that entry level study. And so it's fitting that this is the first Bible study that I ever bought when becoming a Christian years and years ago, a couple of decades ago now, coming up on it anyway. And this type, we're going to look at the type, not exactly the specifics to it, but just the type and the general type. And so I kind of call this an entry level Bible study. What that is you go and you get this book and you spend a few dollars getting this book, and it's sort of a self-guided Bible study. You've got your Bible, open to that book of the Bible, which in this case happens to be Acts, and you just sort of follow along with the guided questions that are asked. So you just begin in Acts and you open your book, your Bible book, and you just sort of, start in the beginning and go through. And so you see here, it kind of walks you through, the verses and such as you go through. And it's just going to take you all the way through the book of the Bible, studying the book of the Bible. So in other words, entry level, this is a self-contained study of the book of Acts. There are others. I mean, this is one version. I got my iPad here, and I'll show you some of these. So one is one that we've written for the church, at the Lighthouse. We have, just one that we go through. It connects with our sermons. And so I write these kind of Bible studies. I'm not against them at all. And it just walks through, show you down here, just walks through. This is on Psalm 119. We're going through it actually now. And so it goes through Psalm 119 and just asks questions. It asks you questions and you answer them. And it's a very simple, easy way. You read your Bible, you read your questions, and you just answer what it says. Let me show you a different one that I have on my iPad here. This one comes from Crossway, and I've actually made use. I got it on Kindle. It's a great way. They're very cheap, maybe $3 or $4. But again, it's in in essence, I'm going pretty quick, but I'm trying to show you the, well, that's I went to week 2, but this is, you know, the there's some introductory commentary to teach you in all of these. You'll have that, and then it takes you through a few verses at a time. You read them, you answer the questions, and you just sort of go through and do that. And that's your introductory entry level, what I would call, way of studying the Bible. You get a self-enclosed Bible study, usually on a book of the Bible, or sometimes it can be a topic, but usually, in my case, it's always going to be a book of the Bible. Now, I do think there are some good versions of these. Again, I write these. We again use those to connect with our sermon, and we give those out to our congregation for free. They have those, and we use them for personal Bible study, and then we use them for group discussions. It kind of just pulls people together. The Life Change series by Navigators is really good. This one, again, is one of the first ones I used or I ever came to, but it goes through really good resources. I mean, it has footnotes to F.F. Bruce and I. Howard Marshall. Those are really great commentators, but it also introduces you to different Bible study methods as you go through it. And so, yes, it's a self-contained Bible study, but its purpose is to help you build up some skills and tools that you can then take and maybe go a little bit deeper. That ESV version is very good as well. The one I showed you on the Kindle there, the ESV, the Crossway version, and it is an ESV version of it, but it actually connects back to the study Bible, so it'll point you to certain pages of the study Bible and help you connect there. It's got different things, and everyone's going to be a little different. This has got like gospel glimpses, so it shows you where the gospel's coming up, gives you definitions. So it's got some theological reflection. It's got good stuff. And these little Bible studies like this have their purpose. They have their advantages. So here are a few advantages to a Bible study like this. Using a Bible study alongside your Bible, getting a self-enclosed Bible study like this one, like the Life Change series, whichever one you're using. One advantage is anybody can use these. There's a very low threshold. Anyone can come into them. So if you're a brand new disciple and you're wondering what to do, grab one of these self-enclosed Bible studies and just jump in. Anyone can jump in. That's what they're designed for. They're designed to help you get started right away. It's a very, very low threshold, so that there's not a lot of required knowledge, and they're going to give you some really good background knowledge if they're good ones. If they're the let me look at what this series is called real quick. I probably could have just gone back to the library instead of you watching me flip all the way through, but I don't remember what the Knowing the Bible series, okay, or the Life Change series. They're going to help you connect. The second thing that's really an advantage of these kinds of resources is they're cheap. This one on Kindle, $3 or $4, not that much. This was years ago, but $7. This was a long time ago, but for $10. You can get, this is like 13 weeks of a Bible study. So for $10, you can get that. It's just not expensive. You can get one of those for really inexpensive. And the other one of the other advantages is if it's not open-ended in terms of time. The time that it takes to study through one of these, is limited. So if you've only got 20 minutes, 30 minutes a day, these are really helpful because you can jump in. A lot of work has been done for you in these so that you're coming in and you're just jumping in to the study. So there are some advantages, some disadvantages to these, however. And this is just one way of studying the Bible. So know that there are other ways to study the Bible. Some of the disadvantages is that they are limited. So what is in this is you're limited to what's in this. And so it's naturally limited. The author who writes these is, just sharing a certain amount of things with you. They're not being exhaustive, and so they're limited in their scope. Usually they're very small. They're not very big books. The second is some of these, not these in particular, that's why I chose these, but some self-contained Bible studies can be very shallow. They ask what I call Captain Obvious questions, and they're just very shallow. They don't take you very deep. These two, they do have resources and tools embedded within them that help combat that a little bit, but some of these really tend to be shallow, and that can be a big disadvantage to them. And the third is they just tend to be rigid. In other words, they're not very fluid. Think of, that's a good thing if you're starting your discipleship journey. Being rigid is good. Sort of like if you're bowling or something and you've got the guardrails up. You see your goal down at the bottom, at the end of the thing to knock the pins down. The guardrails keep you from going into the gutters. When I was a new disciple, going into the gutter was easy to do because I just didn't know very much, and so it kept me focused. When I started on the Book of Acts, it kept me focused on the Book of Acts. Where if I would have started just in my Bible, I just wouldn't have even known where to go and how to do that. Or if you're discipling someone else and or a group, you're doing things as a group, it keeps you focused in it. But being rigid like that can be a disadvantage because you don't have the fluidity. You can't follow, wherever God is sort of speaking to you in that some other ways of Bible study maybe have an advantage in. Here, they're just more rigid. So I encourage you to, if you're a new disciple, or you're just looking for an entry level, in other words, just a very inexpensive, simple, very time sensitive way of studying the Bible, these are a good option. The Life Change series, the Knowing the Bible series, are both really, really good options, and I'm sure there are many, many, many others, but these are two really great ones. Hope that's of help to you, and I will see you guys soon.